In order to get to the compressor, we need to pull the washer jug out of the way. And there's 3 bolts. One there. One right here where this recess is right here. You can see this one's missing. And then there's one over there where the mount goes to the wall. With the washer bottle out of the way, we got 3 bolts that hold the bracket on. And there's one. It's right here. Go ahead and remove those. Make sure you got your electrical connector off. You can break these tabs off on here on each side. Makes it easier to separate it from down below, because your new compressor will have a new connector on it. Now if your new pump, you got it from aftermarket, you got it from somebody else, you got it from a junkyard, does not come with this dryer, leave it connected to the lines. Those quick connect orange things right there for the lines are one-time use only. Now of course it is recommended to replace the dryer because it's the only thing drying the air in the system, and eventually it does get saturated to the point of where it's ineffective. Best way to take these off with it is with the diagonal cutters like this, and you go in here and then you grab that brass piece that retains it, and then you press off of it, the dryer itself. Now these brass retainers right here that came off the old dryer, they're not reusable, and a new dryer and your new pump will have these new brass inserts on here that grip the line. What you gotta do is pry up on this side because it's biting over here into the line. So you gotta pry up on here. Like that. You see how I'm doing that? And the line's already split. The retainer's already split. Now what's even better to use on here is, there we go, a mini flat blade screwdriver. Let's see if you can, make sure you can see. That way if it slips you don't stab yourself. Now once you get all 4 of these spread out like this, you can literally just twist it off of here. And then you can slide this off here too. Get rid of that. Now the reason I do this is because these lines are made to be almost exact length. So you really don't have much to work with here if you cut them off. And then you splice this back, and then because you gotta make sure you're fully inserted, or else you're gonna have air leaks. So it's best to take their length, they're ready set, not ruin the line, and preserve it and get that retainer off of there. So we can take these, clean them up a little bit with a rag, and then push them right into the new dryer all the way, and then we could try it out. Now going back in, it does not matter which line goes in which port, whichever one's closest or shortest. I mean, you should probably go to the bottom one. You know, once the set's in there, it'll be closest to it then. But they'll both fit, and they both go the same part. This dryer's one piece in here. It's not 2 different ports. So then you just take it and you push them in all the way. And then you give them a little tug. You see you can't take them out. Now all you got to do is bolt in your compressor, and then we're going to go over to the car and we're going to test it out once again by turning the key on and then opening and closing the door, and it should come on. Now when installing your new pump in bracket, it has these big isolation mounts on here, whereas before they did not have that. So you're going to need all new bolts that are longer. I would say at least a 1/4 inch longer than the old ones, if not a half. There it is, all installed. And the air suspension system will automatically adjust the rear. It may stop and time out to let the motor cool. It's only air cooled. But this is how it should sound. And you'll see the rear suspension raising ever so slightly. Until it gets the right height. Now that we have a working compressor again, we can check our work, and either when it turns off after it's done leveling out the system, there will still be pressure in these lines. So we can listen for a leak, or while it's running and afterwards, we can spray this area right here with a soapy solution and make sure there's no leaks also, because that will cause codes also. If you took out the old retainers the way I showed, you shouldn't have any issues with leaks on these at all. I just wanted to show you how these fail. Here's the big motor that actually pulls all that amperage, and it acts as the crankshaft, like an engine. There's all kinds of pieces in here, but what fell out of it is the actual piston. It's got the seal, it's like the piston rings. It's got a wrist pin, and it's got a connecting rod, and the connecting rod is what usually breaks on these. And that's where you get that binding. It'll go clunk, and then it'll just bind. Whereas this one totally broke, so that the motor was able to spin in there freely without binding. And that's why this one had a different sound to it. It's got a cylinder. It's basically a small engine, is what it is. It's got a cylinder head and valving. So basically it's the same thing as a connecting rod on your engine going. Same kind of catastrophic failure.